Have you ever been told that waking up 2 or 3 times every night to use the bathroom is simply normal for your age? Or that losing strength and intimacy after 60 is something you just have to accept? That's the story men are fed, but it's not the truth. The reality is that much of the discomfort you live with isn't destiny. It's the result of daily habits you've repeated for years without realizing the silent damage they cause. I've listened to countless men quietly admit their frustrations. They tell me about restless nights, constant fatigue, and the private worry that their spark is fading for good. Deep down, they fear their best days are behind them. My name is Dr. John E. Morley, and after more than 40 years dedicated to men's health after 60, I want to tell you this: you are not broken. Your prostate problems are not irreversible. And today, I'm going to show you 10 hidden habits that inflame your prostate and steal your comfort. Habits that, once you see them clearly, you can finally change. So stay with me until the very end, because the number one habit we'll reveal is the silent root that makes all the others worse. Correcting it could transform your nights, your confidence, and your health faster than you think. Before we begin, take a moment to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another honest, science-based health tip designed for men over 60. And if this message speaks to you, type 1 in the comments to let me know you're here. If it doesn't, type 0. Your feedback helps me make these videos even more helpful for you. All right, let's get started. The first and most misunderstood habit is one many men rely on every night, believing it helps them sleep. In truth, it does the opposite. Habit number 10, the myth of drinking less water before bed. Let me explain why this common practice is quietly harming your prostate. Habit 10, believing the myth about drinking less water at night. One of the most common pieces of advice men give each other is this: stop drinking water in the evening, and you won't wake up at night. On the surface, it sounds logical. Less water should mean fewer trips to the bathroom, right? But in reality, this habit is one of the worst things you can do for your prostate. Here's why. When you deliberately restrict water, your urine becomes darker, more concentrated, and far more acidic. That concentrated urine irritates the lining of your bladder, creating a constant sense of urgency, even when your bladder is only half full. The bladder, in turn, pushes against the prostate, leading to swelling and inflammation that worsen over time. This is the cycle many men fall into without realizing it: dehydration, irritation, pressure, inflammation. I remember Walter, 70, who came to me after years of broken sleep. He proudly explained that he had cut back his evening water to almost nothing, convinced it would help. But instead, he still woke up 2 or 3 times every night, often with an uncomfortable urgency. When I asked him to reverse the habit, to sip water consistently throughout the day and allow his urine to stay clear, he was skeptical. But within 3 weeks, his nights changed. "Doctor," he said, "for the first time in years, I slept 6 hours straight." The science backs this up. Chronic dehydration doesn't just affect your bladder. It directly contributes to prostate enlargement. Without enough hydration, toxins concentrate, the bladder wall stiffens, and the prostate is forced into constant irritation. On the other hand, steady hydration keeps your bladder calm, reduces unnecessary pressure, and gives your prostate a chance to rest. The solution is surprisingly simple. Don't wait until you're thirsty. By the time your body signals thirst, you're already dehydrated. Instead, sip water throughout the day. Make clear or very pale yellow urine your goal. That's your body's sign that it's in balance. And don't fear a small glass of water in the evening. What matters most is the overall hydration of your body, not starving yourself of fluid at night. Think of water as your shield, not your enemy. Each glass is not another threat to your sleep. It's a defense for your bladder, a relief for your prostate, and a step toward calm, uninterrupted nights. So if you've been avoiding water in hopes of protecting your rest, it's time to flip the script. Hydration is not your problem. In fact, it's your most powerful ally. Habit 9, excessive sitting. When most men feel tired, the first thing they do is sit. It feels natural. Take the weight off, rest your legs, maybe sink into your favorite chair. But here's what very few men realize. For your prostate, excessive sitting is a disaster. Think of it this way. Every time you sit for long stretches, you're placing continuous pressure on the pelvic area. That pressure restricts blood flow, slows circulation, and creates inflammation in the prostate. Over time, it's like sitting on a slow-burning fire, one that irritates the gland and worsens urinary problems day by day. I'll never forget Harvey, 73, a retired accountant. He told me, "Doctor, I spend most of my day in my recliner. I'm retired, I've earned the rest." Yet Harvey also struggled with constant urgency, discomfort, and nights of broken sleep. When we traced back his daily routine, the culprit was obvious. He spent nearly 10 hours a day seated. His prostate was paying the price. The science is clear. Sedentary behavior reduces oxygen flow, increases pelvic congestion, and magnifies inflammation. In fact, studies show that men who spend most of their day seated are at significantly higher risk for prostate enlargement and complications. But here's the good news. The fix doesn't require a gym membership or hours of exercise. It's about micro movements, small, consistent actions that break up long periods of sitting. I teach my patients the 30-minute rule. Every 30 minutes, stand up, stretch your arms, walk to the kitchen, look out the window. Even 2 to 3 minutes of light movement is enough to relieve pelvic pressure, restart circulation, and send your body the signal that it's still alive and active. Harvey tried it. He set a simple timer on his phone to buzz every half hour. At first, he found it annoying, but after a week, he admitted something remarkable. "Doc, I didn't realize how stiff I'd become until I started moving again, and my bathroom trips already feel less urgent." Your body was made to move. Stillness may feel restful for your mind, but for your prostate, it's a silent attack. Don't let a quiet lifestyle create a loud health problem. Make movement your medicine, one small step at a time. Habit 8. Drinking too much caffeine. For many men, the day doesn't begin until that first cup of coffee touches their lips. And truthfully, there's nothing wrong with enjoying that morning ritual. The problem comes when coffee, or any caffeine, becomes a constant companion throughout the day. What most men don't realize is that caffeine is one of the biggest hidden irritants for both the bladder and the prostate. Here's why. Caffeine is a natural diuretic, which means it increases urine production. At the same time, it stimulates the bladder, making it more sensitive and more prone to spasms. That combination means two things. You produce more urine, and your bladder feels the urge to empty sooner, even if it's not full. For men with an enlarged prostate, that's a recipe for discomfort, urgency, and sleepless nights. I think of Daniel, 68, who told me he always knew the location of every restroom wherever he went. "I love my coffee, Doc," he laughed, "but I can't go anywhere without planning my stops." What Daniel didn't connect was the link between his 4 cups of coffee a day and his constant bathroom trips. When I suggested he cut back, keeping his first morning cup but switching the rest to decaf or herbal tea, he noticed a difference in just days. The urgency lessened, the nighttime interruptions eased, and he felt more in control. Science explains this clearly. Caffeine tightens the muscles of the bladder, increases urine acidity, and heightens irritation in the prostate region. Add multiple cups a day, and you're stacking irritation upon irritation. For older men whose bladders and prostates are already more sensitive, this can tip the balance from mild discomfort to daily misery. Now, this doesn't mean you have to eliminate caffeine entirely. Enjoy that first cup of the day. It can even provide a small energy boost and mental clarity. The key is moderation. Limit yourself to 1 serving in the morning. After that, switch to decaf, green tea, or caffeine-free herbal teas that soothe instead of irritate. Daniel's story isn't unique. Time and again, I've seen men regain freedom and confidence by simply reducing caffeine. They're no longer chained to the bathroom. They can sit through a movie, attend church, or take a road trip without constant interruption. So if you've been blaming your age for the endless bathroom runs, take a hard look at your coffee mug. Caffeine may be comforting in the moment, but for your prostate, it's like fuel on the fire. Choose wisely. That one decision could mean the difference between restless nights and peaceful sleep, between constant urgency and calm confidence. Habit 7. Spicy and processed foods. For many men, food is comfort. A plate of spicy wings during the game, a hot dog at a cookout, or a quick frozen meal when cooking feels like too much trouble. But what seems harmless in the moment can quietly sabotage your hormones and inflame your prostate. The truth is this: what you eat every day directly affects your prostate health. Spicy foods, while flavorful, can irritate the bladder and surrounding tissues, creating unnecessary inflammation. Processed foods, loaded with unhealthy fats, salt, and chemical additives, take it one step further. They disrupt your body's hormonal balance, lowering testosterone while encouraging estrogen dominance. That hormonal shift is a well-known risk factor for prostate enlargement. I recall James, 66, a retired truck driver. His meals often came from fast food stops on the road: burgers, fried snacks, and plenty of spicy sauces. He came to me complaining of constant discomfort and a fading sense of vitality. "Doc," he admitted, "I thought I was just getting old." But when we adjusted his diet, replacing processed meals with fresh vegetables, nuts, avocados, and berries, the change was remarkable. Within weeks, his urgency improved, his mood lifted, and he told me, "I feel like myself again." Science explains why. Ultra-processed foods flood the body with trans fats and refined oils that trigger systemic inflammation. Over time, that inflammation concentrates in sensitive areas like the prostate. Add the hormonal disruption of high-fat, low-nutrient meals, and you have the perfect recipe for swelling, discomfort, and declining performance. The good news? You can use food as medicine. By adopting an anti-inflammatory diet rich in whole, natural foods, you calm irritation and support your hormones. Leafy greens provide antioxidants that fight free radicals. Nuts and seeds give you healthy fats that stabilize testosterone. Avocados deliver magnesium and zinc, key minerals for male hormone balance. Berries supply polyphenols that reduce inflammation and support blood flow. It's not about giving up all flavor. It's about trading what disrupts your health for what restores it. A fresh salsa with herbs and vegetables will give you spice without the damage. A grilled salmon fillet provides protein and omega-3s that actively protect your prostate. Each meal is a choice. Is your fuel coming from a package or from the earth? James discovered the answer. And so can you. Every bite is either feeding the problem or fueling your recovery. So remember this: if your meals come mostly from boxes and drive-thrus, your prostate is paying the price. But if they come from nature, your body is in your hands, not in the hands of an industry profiting from your decline. Habit 6. Holding your urine too long. It's something almost every man does without thinking. You're in the middle of a meeting, stuck in traffic or watching a ball game, and you feel the urge to urinate. Instead of excusing yourself, you ignore it. You tell yourself you'll wait until later. But here's the truth. For your prostate, holding urine too long is like a slow-motion earthquake. Think of your bladder as a balloon. Every time you hold your urine, you're stretching that balloon beyond its comfort zone. The pressure doesn't stay in the bladder. It pushes downward, directly onto the prostate. Over time, this constant stress leads to tiny injuries, irritation, and swelling in the delicate prostate tissue. I recall Michael, 71, who prided himself on his iron bladder. He admitted he often held it during long drives because he didn't want to stop, but he also struggled with frequent urgency and incomplete emptying. When we examined him, the signs of an inflamed prostate were clear. His so-called strength had been quietly feeding his biggest weakness. The problem is worse for older men because the muscles controlling the bladder and urethra naturally weaken with age. That means every time you hold it, you risk incomplete emptying, leaving behind stagnant urine. And stagnant urine is a breeding ground for bacteria. Add infection on top of inflammation, and your prostate becomes a constant target. The solution couldn't be simpler. Listen to your body. When nature calls, answer. Don't wait until the pressure is unbearable. By respecting your body's signals, you protect not just your bladder but your prostate as well. Think of it as teamwork. When you care for the bladder, you relieve stress on the prostate. Michael finally changed his habit. He stopped waiting until later and gave himself permission to stop when he needed to. Within weeks, his urgency eased, his sleep improved, and he said with relief, "Doctor, I didn't realize something so small could make such a big difference." So here's the takeaway. Ignoring your bladder isn't a sign of toughness, it's a silent enemy to your prostate. Real strength is listening to your body and protecting it before the damage is done. Habit 5. Smoking. For decades, smoking has been called one of the deadliest habits a man can carry. Most people know it harms the lungs and heart, but very few realize how destructive it is for the prostate. Every cigarette you light is like detonating a chemical bomb inside your body, and your prostate is one of the first casualties. Cigarette smoke is filled with thousands of toxins. These chemicals constrict blood vessels, reducing circulation throughout the body. For the prostate, which depends on steady blood flow to stay healthy, this restricted circulation suffocates the tissue. At the same time, smoking floods the body with free radicals that cause inflammation. The result? Chronic irritation, swelling, and damage to the delicate gland. Over the years, this doesn't just contribute to enlargement, it drastically increases the risk of prostate cancer. I'll never forget Alan, 69, who had smoked for more than 40 years. He came to me complaining of burning urination and constant discomfort. His scans showed significant prostate enlargement. When I explained the role smoking played, he was stunned. "Doc, I thought I was hurting my lungs. I never imagined it was destroying this part of me too. The danger is even higher for older men. With age, the body's repair systems slow down. What once healed quickly now lingers. The antioxidants your body produces naturally are fewer, and smoking steals away the reserves you have left. That means damage accumulates faster and recovery is harder. Here's the hopeful part. The moment you quit, your body begins to heal. Within weeks of stopping, circulation improves, inflammation decreases, and the prostate finally gets a chance to recover. For many men, urinary symptoms ease, nighttime trips lessen, and their overall vitality improves. And this isn't just about smokers. Secondhand smoke can be nearly as harmful. If you live or work around smoking, your body and your prostate are absorbing those toxins. Protecting yourself from smoke-filled environments is one of the most powerful steps you can take for your long-term health. Alan eventually made the decision to quit. With support, counseling, and determination, he stopped after 4 decades. 6 months later, he returned to my office with a lighter step and brighter eyes. "Doctor," he said, "I didn't just quit smoking, I got my life back." Gentlemen, if you smoke, the best choice you can make for your prostate, your energy, and your future is to stop. If you don't smoke, guard that gift and avoid smoky environments. Either way, your prostate will thank you. Habit 4. Skipping preventive checkups. Most men take better care of their cars than their own bodies. Think about it. You schedule oil changes, tire rotations, and regular tune-ups to prevent a breakdown on the road. But when it comes to your health, especially your prostate, many men wait until the warning lights are flashing before they see a doctor. That delay can be costly. Prostate issues often grow silently. In the early stages, there may be no obvious symptoms. By the time discomfort appears, frequent urination, weak stream, or nighttime interruptions, the problem may already be advanced. I've seen far too many men walk into my office only after years of ignoring subtle changes, hoping they would go away. By then, treatment options are more limited and often more invasive. I recall Richard, 72, who came in only after he could barely sleep through the night. His PSA levels were elevated, and his exam revealed significant enlargement. When I asked why he hadn't come sooner, he sighed. "Doctor, I didn't want to hear bad news, so I said nothing." That silence cost him precious time. Here's the truth. Preventive checkups are not about searching for disease. They're about ensuring health. A simple annual exam, including a PSA blood test and, yes, a digital rectal exam, can detect problems at their earliest stage. When caught early, many prostate issues can be reversed or managed with simple lifestyle changes. Wait too long, and you may face medications, procedures, or surgeries that could have been avoided. I understand that for many men, the thought of a prostate exam feels uncomfortable, even embarrassing. But avoiding that moment of discomfort can lead to years of suffering. The checkup itself takes minutes. The peace of mind it gives you lasts all year. Richard eventually admitted that what he feared most wasn't the exam. It was losing control of his health. Once he took that step, he realized it wasn't nearly as bad as he had imagined. More importantly, he caught his problem before it turned into something worse. So here's my challenge to you. Don't wait for the red warning light. Be proactive. Schedule your preventive checkup. It's the smartest, simplest habit you can adopt to protect your prostate and preserve your quality of life. Your car can be replaced. Your body can't. Treat it with at least the same respect. For many men, a juicy steak or a sizzling plate of bacon feels like the reward of a life well lived. And while there's nothing wrong with enjoying these foods occasionally, eating red and processed meats day after day quietly chips away at your prostate health. Here's why. Red meats like beef and lamb, and processed meats such as sausages, hot dogs, and deli cuts are high in saturated fats and often packed with preservatives. These substances fuel systemic inflammation, raise bad cholesterol, and disrupt hormone balance. In older men whose metabolism is naturally slowing, this combination creates the perfect storm for prostate enlargement and urinary issues. I remember Gerald, 70, a retired Navy veteran. He told me proudly, "Doc, I eat meat with every meal. It keeps me strong." But behind his pride was frustration. He was waking 3 times a night, struggling with urgency during the day, and his energy was fading. When we adjusted his diet, cutting back red meat to once or twice a week and adding more fish, chicken, beans, and vegetables, he noticed dramatic improvements. Within a month, his nighttime interruptions decreased, and his mornings felt lighter and more energized. Science has long confirmed this link. Studies show that high consumption of red and processed meat is associated with increased inflammation and a higher risk of prostate disease. The chemicals produced during meat processing, such as nitrates and heterocyclic amines, don't just irritate the body. They actively damage cells, including those in the prostate. The good news? You don't have to give up what you love. It's about balance and smarter choices. Reserve red meat for special occasions. On regular days, explore healthier proteins. Salmon and other fatty fish provide omega-3 fatty acids that actually reduce inflammation. Chicken offers lean protein without the harmful fats. Lentils, beans, and plant-based proteins deliver fiber that supports digestion and overall hormone balance. Gerald admitted something powerful after his shift. "Doc, I never thought food could make such a difference. I thought my age was the problem, but really, it was my habits." His story proves what I've seen countless times. Your prostate responds directly to what you feed your body. So here's the takeaway. If most of your meals come from the grill, the fryer, or a package, your prostate is paying the price. But when you fill your plate with fresh, whole foods, you give your body the tools to calm inflammation, restore balance, and protect your manhood. Every meal is a choice. Is it fueling your decline or fueling your vitality? Habit 2. Carrying belly fat. For many men, a growing waistline feels like an unavoidable part of aging. "It's just a bit of belly," they say, joking about their dad bod or retirement gut. But beneath the humor lies a dangerous truth. Belly fat is one of the biggest enemies of your prostate. Unlike the fat under your skin, belly fat is metabolically active. It behaves like a rogue endocrine gland, constantly releasing inflammatory chemicals into your bloodstream. That inflammation doesn't just affect your heart or your joints, it directly fuels prostate swelling and discomfort. Even worse, belly fat produces an enzyme called aromatase, which converts your valuable testosterone into estrogen. The result? Lower testosterone, higher estrogen, and a hormonal imbalance that accelerates prostate problems. I think of Stanley, 68, a retired bus driver. He confessed, "Doc, I know I've put on weight, but it's just part of getting older, right?" His waist measured nearly 42 inches, and he was plagued with nighttime bathroom trips, low energy, and a fading interest in intimacy. When I explained the connection between his belly fat, his hormones, and his prostate, he was stunned. "You mean this gut is stealing my manhood?" he asked. The answer was yes. Here's the hopeful part. Even a small change makes a big difference. Research shows that losing just 5% of body weight can significantly improve urinary symptoms and hormone balance. For Stanley, that meant starting small. We began with daily 20-minute walks, swapping sugary drinks for water, and adding an extra serving of vegetables to his dinner. Within 3 months, he had dropped 12 pounds. His bathroom visits were less frequent, his energy returned, and his confidence grew. Science supports what I've seen firsthand. Trimming belly fat reduces inflammation, restores healthier testosterone levels, and eases pressure on the prostate. It doesn't take a crash diet or hours at the gym. It takes steady, consistent steps. Movements that build momentum over time. So here's the truth. Belly fat is not a harmless sign of age. It's a warning signal of metabolic stress and hormonal sabotage. But it's also one of the most reversible risk factors. Every pound you lose is a gift to your prostate, your hormones, and your future vitality. Gentlemen, don't accept that gut as your fate. Shrink it. And you'll not only see your waistline change, you'll feel the difference in your energy, your sleep, and your strength as a man. Habit 1. Living with chronic stress. Of all the hidden habits that harm the prostate, this one is the most overlooked and the most destructive. Chronic, unmanaged stress. Many men wear stress like a badge of honor. They believe pushing through long days, carrying worries silently, and ignoring tension is a sign of strength. But in truth, stress is silently breaking down their health, and the prostate is one of the first organs to suffer. Here's why. When you live under constant stress, your body produces high levels of cortisol, the main stress hormone. Cortisol fuels inflammation, tenses the pelvic muscles, and disrupts hormone balance. And remember, testosterone and cortisol are on a seesaw. When cortisol is high, testosterone drops. Low testosterone combined with chronic inflammation creates the perfect environment for prostate swelling and urinary problems. I think of Edward, 70, a retired teacher who came to me exhausted. He wasn't sleeping, his bathroom trips were constant, and his energy was gone. When I asked about his lifestyle, he admitted, "I'm always stressed. Money, health, family. I never really relax." His body was stuck in survival mode, and his prostate was paying the price. Here's the hopeful part. Managing stress doesn't require expensive tools or hours of therapy. It starts with small, deliberate choices. Deep breathing for 10 minutes before bed. A quiet walk in the morning sun. Turning off screens an hour before sleep. Calling a friend instead of bottling up your worries. These simple practices lower cortisol, restore balance, and give your prostate the break it desperately needs. Edward began with one change: evening breathing exercises. Within 2 weeks, his sleep improved. A month later, he told me, "Doctor, I feel calmer. I'm not running to the bathroom as much, and my wife says I seem more like myself." Stress had been the invisible chain holding him back. Once he broke it, his body responded with relief. Gentlemen, let me be clear. Stress is not a sign of responsibility or strength. It is a silent saboteur, attacking your hormones, your circulation, and your prostate. Managing it is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is one of the most powerful steps you can take to protect your health and restore your confidence. So if you've ignored stress, thinking it's just part of life, it's time to rethink. By calming your mind, you heal your body. And by managing stress, you don't just protect your prostate, you reclaim the energy, intimacy, and peace you deserve. Conclusion. Gentlemen, let's bring everything together. Over the past few minutes, we've uncovered the truth about prostate health that most men never hear. Decline is not inevitable. Nighttime bathroom trips, fading energy, and lost confidence are not punishments of age. They're the result of daily habits, and habits can be changed. We've walked through the 10 silent habits that inflame and enlarge the prostate. You've learned why dehydration is not your friend, but your enemy, and how keeping your urine clear protects your bladder and prostate. You've seen how sitting for hours suffocates circulation and adds silent pressure. You've discovered the hidden role of caffeine, how too much coffee or tea feeds urgency and irritation. You now know that processed and spicy foods not only inflame your body, but also disrupt your hormones. We exposed the danger of holding urine too long, stretching your bladder and damaging the prostate. We faced the reality that smoking, even secondhand, strangles circulation and accelerates prostate disease. We also confronted the cost of skipping preventive checkups, the silent gamble too many men take. We revealed how too much red and processed meat stacks inflammation against you. We talked about belly fat, not as a cosmetic issue, but as a hormone disruptor that converts testosterone into estrogen. And finally, we arrived at the root cause that worsens them all: chronic stress, the invisible chain pulling your health down day after day. But the most important message isn't about the damage, it's about hope. Because the same way habits cause decline, new habits can restore health. With consistent hydration, daily movement, smarter food choices, stress management, and preventive care, your body responds. I've seen it happen over and over again. Men who thought they were finished rediscovered energy, intimacy, and confidence they never expected to feel again. Now, I want you to take action. Start today with one change. Drink water consistently. Take a short walk. Swap a processed meal for something fresh, or simply go to bed earlier. Just one step, and then another. That's how transformation begins. If this video gave you clarity or hope, here's how you can help this mission grow. Like this video so YouTube shows it to more men who need it. Subscribe and tap the notification bell so you never miss another tip designed for men over 60. Comment below, type 1 if this message resonated, or 0 if it didn't. I read every response. And share your story if you feel moved. Your words could encourage another man to take back his health. And if you'd like to go one step further, consider supporting this channel. Every contribution helps us bring high-quality, science-based content to more men who need it. Together, we can redefine what it means to age, with strength, energy, and dignity. Gentlemen, you're not too late. Your body is still listening. Each small choice you make sends a message. I'm not giving up. I still believe in myself. And that belief is the foundation of renewal. So tonight, when you reach for water, when you stand up after 30 minutes, when you take that first step toward change, remember, you're not just protecting your prostate, you're reclaiming your life.